Hey guys, for this week's Sofa Talk, I am being interviewed by Emily. Emily, who has been on the Sofa Talk already, is interviewing me about what it is like to be a Christian as a teenager and how we can live out our faith as a teenager. The quality is a little bit rubbish, especially at the beginning, so I'm sorry about that, but if you persevere through that, it will get better. It's only 18 minutes long, so I hope you enjoy this and enjoy this week's Sofa Talk.
So I'm here with my friend Jake. I know Jake from uni. We went to uni together. He finished the year before me, so he hasn't been there for a year now. But I just wanted to have a chat about some of Jake's story of what it was like being a Christian when he was a young person. I think he's got some cool stories to tell. But Jake, first of all, could you introduce yourself to us in your own words?
In my own words, I couldn't really use someone else's. My name's Jake. I went to LST with Emily. I now work at a church in Whitstable, which is in Kent, as an assistant pastor and work with the youth there.
It's by the beach, isn't it?
Anything else? Want anything else? Or is that's me?
No, that's fine. That works.
Right.
I've got a few important questions to ask you.
Okay.
First of all, one I was thinking about is I miss traveling and going on holiday and stuff. I was just thinking, when we're allowed to go abroad again, where is one country you would love to go to, like a holiday destination?
I love skiing, and I haven't actually gone skiing in years, but I really would love to go to Canada, where when it's like minus 19, like proper cold, and ski and sit in front of the fire, and it
Yeah.
would be the dream.
That sounds nice, to be fair. I would have definitely gone for a hot option, but that's fair enough. You do you.
Well, I think it's either got to be really hot or really cold. One
Yeah.
or the other.
Yeah. Don't want mediocre temperatures.
No.
Um,
No.
Okay. Love that answer. Second question. McDonald's, KFC, or Burger King. You can only choose one. You can't go to any of the others for the rest of your life. Which one would you go for?
Burger King. Easy.
Really?
Burger King, but if you get the app, the Burger King app, guys, secret here, the Burger King app is amazing. You get the better burgers, but for cheaper than McDonald's. It's amazing. Download it. Burger King.
Really?
100%.
Yeah, but Burger King and KFC, their chips just aren't on the same level as McDonald's chips.
Burger Kings aren't that bad, but if you've had the bacon double cheese XL or whatever they call it, it is unbelievable. Seriously, it's so good.
Wow.
I'm a proper Burger King evangelist.
Really?
That's amazing.
I was not expecting that. I feel like Burger King is quite a rogue answer. No?
Well, most people go for McDonald's, but I feel like it's because people don't know the app. The only criticism of Burger
So
King
you're saying that
is
the app changes the whole Burger King experience so much that
everything.
it elevates
It changes everything.
it.
You can pay like £3.99 for 2 burgers, chips, a drink,
No,
and
stop it.
amazing.
Wow.
100%.
Incredible. Heard it here first, guys. Lovely. Okay. A really important question that I think says a lot about a person. When you make a sandwich, which way do you cut it?
What are the options? I
Well-
feel like I cut it the only way.
No, okay, which do you think's that?
Okay, so a sandwich is like that, right?
Yeah.
And I'll cut it here, so down the
Okay.
middle of the
Okay.
rectangle.
That's an acceptable answer.
What are the other options?
Because you can cut it diagonally, which is what I like to do. Love a diagonal sandwich. Some people, and this is really sad to say, cut it vertically. So you have two
What,
thin
like that?
pieces. Yeah.
That is odd.
That is
That
not
is odd.
okay, is it? It's not on.
No,
So
that's
that's
not. I
really
mean, I think the diagonal one's a bit weird, but
Really?
I'll let you off.
I think diagonal is great. But vertical one, very strange. Can't get behind it. Either of the other two is alright. Great. Good chat.
Can I do it in a way that's okay for you?
Yeah. Just do what works for you. Unless you do it vertically, then don't do that.
Don't do it at all.
Jake, could you tell us, were you a Christian throughout all your teenage years?
Well, I was brought up as a Christian, so I was brought up in and around church. So I definitely would have called myself a Christian growing up. But I would say that in my like early teenage years, I wasn't really following Jesus. I would say I was a Christian, but I wasn't really following Jesus, if you
Okay.
get what I mean. So there was definitely like two parts to Jake. There was the Sunday, I'm at church, I'm gonna do, put on this act of being this classic Christian
Right.
and
Yeah.
say the right things, use Christian jargon, and yeah, kind of get on with my life on Sunday as a Christian.
Mhm.
But then the rest of my week, I wasn't quite like that. So I people may have known that I was a Christian, but actually I wasn't really acting like a Christian. So
Okay.
like I was at school, for example, I was a bit of a nightmare. I was a nightmare for the teachers. I was really rude and just not very nice to the teachers. So it was kind of like there was Jake on a Sunday, and then there was Jake throughout the week, and then also outside of school as well with my mates. I wasn't like acting like a Christian. So I was kind of a Christian in the way that I've made a decision to be a Christian, and I was in and around church, and I was on a Sunday I was acting like a Christian, but my life kind of wasn't looking like a Christian, if you get what I mean.
Mhm. So did your friends know you were a Christian? Like, did you ever talk about it with them or not?
Yeah, they knew I was a Christian. I told them I was a Christian, and they knew that I went to church on a Sunday, and that my family were Christians. They knew that about me, but I wouldn't have said that I'd given them a very good example of what a Christian is.
Right.
So they knew that I would say I'm a Christian, but they couldn't really see me as a Christian in the way that I was acting.
Mhm.
So I was kind of a lot more comfortable telling people that I was a Christian than I was acting and showing them
Yeah.
that I'm a follower of Jesus. So, for example, there was one Easter when on my Facebook I wrote like a Christian post. I think it was something really simple, like "He is risen" or something like that.
Classic Easter post.
Classic on Easter Sunday, and I had loads of people comment like with question marks and like, "What are you on about, Jake? Why are you posting this?" And although I told them I was a Christian and they knew I was a Christian, they didn't really understand that what that kind of meant because I hadn't showed them. So they were like, "Why is he posting this? He's posting it as if it's something he cares about, but it doesn't look like it's something he cares about."
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they knew that I said I was Christian, but they didn't really understand what that meant because I didn't really show them.
Okay. Got you. Yeah. So what? I'm assuming something has changed now. Like, you work in a church, life's a bit different. So what kind of changed? Like, when did it change? What do you now think? I'm guessing you think it's now important that your everyday life matches up with your church life, or do you still just go to your church on a Sunday and then be horrible throughout the week?
But
Not
no,
you, Jake.
something has definitely, hopefully, changed. I remember there was a moment when I just realised that I was being an absolute idiot, and basically, this moment I was dropped in it. Actually, there was one particular teacher at school. So often, the way I was mostly a bit of an idiot was at school, and there was one particular teacher that I was awful to. I was genuinely just a really horrible person to. I've got to be honest. I mean,
I can't imagine it, Jake. Did you make me
there
see?
was one.
I can't picture it, but tell me the story.
There was one week where me and a group of friends in a food tech class, this teacher had locked this teacher in a cupboard and we wouldn't let her out.
No.
Which is awful, like so bad. But what was worse is a couple weeks later, she turns up at my church on a Sunday. And I was like, what am I going to do? This was so embarrassing. Suddenly, my two lives had kind of crossed. So my be horrible to the teachers, be rude, be an idiot has crossed with this act that I put on a Sunday where I'm this Christian, I'm this follower of Jesus. And I remember being so scared that I was going to bump into her. And I was like, please, can she not see me and realise that I'm supposed to be a Christian?
Yeah.
And I think it was that moment where I was just like, I've just got to change from being an absolute idiot. Mm-hmm. I've just got to realise, like, that this isn't what being a follower of Jesus is. You know, it's so hypocritical to be following Jesus, but then purposely be horrible to people and purposely be an idiot.
Mm.
So I think when that happened, it was a bit of a wake-up call to me. And I started to feel a bit embarrassed about how I was being in certain situations, and with my mates, how I was often acting, and with different people at school, how I was showing off. And that was a moment where I was like, all right, things have got to change now.
Okay. And how, like, what changed? Like, do you have any examples of things you did, or like ways that you changed how you were acting around people?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't like an all at once, this all just suddenly happened at once kind of situation. But I had decided that I wasn't going to be this person that said one thing one day and did the other another.
Yeah.
So I was really partly in being embarrassed about how I'd been, I was really trying to show people that actually being a follower of Jesus is loving people and it's showing his love to people. So I was really wanting to be someone that would encourage people. I was really wanting to be someone that would build people up. I was really wanting to be someone that was just good to be around, not someone that shot you down, not someone that was horrible or just treated someone else like they're nothing. And that was kind of what I was doing before. And I was like, this is going to have to stop. So I guess in that kind of way, I changed how I was with other people.
Yeah.
But in doing so, it gave me more opportunities to let them know about who Jesus is through the way that he was affecting my life. Yeah.
That's so interesting. And you ended up like helping lead the CU at your school and stuff, didn't you? And seeing loads of people.
So if I hadn't changed like that, it would have been a bit ridiculous for me to then be part of this team that led a CU that was trying to spread who Jesus is if I was not acting that out.
Yeah.
So we were heading up an amazing CU, me and a couple of friends.
Wait, we should probably just explain, if people don't know what a CU is, it stands for Christian Union.
Yeah, so it's Christian Union. It was on like a Monday lunchtime. It started with just being a Monday lunchtime where we'd meet together and we'd read the Bible together. And then it kind of started to progress. And what was just reading the Bible together suddenly became a bit more of a getting into different groups, because we were getting more people and we were doing Bible studies together and watching something, maybe like a sermon or some kind of series.
Yeah.
And we were watching and then chatting. And then that grew and we started putting on some events. So we had an event called The Project, which Mike Pilavacci came to speak at, and it was worship, talk, ministry, and we had 400 people come. And we were like, wow, we're starting to really do something. And people, loads of non-Christians were deciding to become a Christian. And at one of these projects, we had 20 people from the school decide to become a Christian. And we were realizing that God was starting to really move amongst this school as we decided to live a life that honored him.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So it was amazing. And then we ended up being the first ever school to go to Soul Survivor. So we took 50 people from our school to go to Soul Survivor, and things started to really kick off as God was meeting with so many in the school.
That's so cool. Wow. So do you have any like tips? We might not all be in the same position, but tips of how we could actually live out our faith like every day, rather than just be a Christian on a Sunday and then be someone else throughout the rest of the week? Like, what advice would you give us if we were struggling with that?
I think firstly, I want to say that being a Christian as a teenager is really tough. And it's not getting any easier. In fact, it's probably getting tougher. Yeah. And there's so many pressures to be a certain way, to be thought of as cool, or to simply just like fit in. But there's a scripture, it's in Matthew 5, verse 16, and I just want to quickly read this one verse, which says, Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. And I think often at school, and my story is anyway, that I was really trying to hide that light. I was really trying to hide the fact that I was supposed to be the hands and feet of Jesus. And I didn't want anyone to know that that was me. But actually, scripture tells us to shine that light so that people may know who he is. But how we do that is, it can be really tough. I mean, I just got 3 quick ways that I think will help you guys, and it helped me to actually be able to live that out a little bit more, and to live out shining the light that Jesus has given us. Firstly, and this is a really obvious one and said so many times by people, but spend time with God. It's said so many times because it's so life-changing. If you spend time with God consistently, then that will overflow in your life. So if you're listening to God, if you're reading his word and worshiping him, your life will become an overflow of worship. And as you're closer to God, people will see Jesus shine through you. So firstly, it's just simply spend time with God, and that will make so much difference.
Great.
Secondly, I would say ask God to help you. Each day, one thing that I used to do is each day I would pray, God, would you help me to show the people I'm around, to show them your love? And can you help me to be someone that people really enjoy to be around? And they say, why is it that he's so easy to be around? Why is it that he's so encouraging? Why is it that he shows me love, rather than being the Jake that was rude to everyone, that wanted to put myself above them? Why is it that this guy is putting us above himself? And I prayed each day, God, would you help me to do that? Would you help me to let these guys know of who you are through who I'm being? So that's the second thing, is just to ask God to help you each day. And then finally, to be critical in the best sense of how you are. And obviously there's so much grace. There's grace when we get it wrong, because there are times when we slip up, and there are times when, we get frustrated and we say something we don't mean to say, or we end up glorifying ourselves and bigging ourselves up. But at the end of each day, I used to say to myself, I used to think to myself and say to God, I used to check myself and say, how did I actually honor God today? And how did I just try to big up myself? And it's about trying to be someone that honoring God is the main thing that I did when I was around people, not bigging up myself. So they're 3 things. It's checking yourself, it's spending time with God, and it's asking God to help you.
Amazing. Jake, that's so helpful. Thanks so much. That was great.
It's great to meet you guys.
Thanks for chatting. We will see you soon.
Goodbye.
Bye.
So that is this week's Sofa Talk. Thanks so much for joining and for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and look out for our Sofa Talks. We're actually going to move from doing them once a week now to every fortnight, so that we don't get too bored. But remember, on Tuesday we're doing the Bible study together, and on Thursday it's a social. So do stay in contact, and we miss you and look forward to being with you again.